Across the country, ordinary shoppers are waking up to a disturbing pattern. The foods we trust most, the discount staples from Aldi, the big box comfort buys from Walmart, the healthy yogurts from Danone, even the fruit cups and produce lines tied to Del Monte, are showing up in federal recall alerts with a frequency that feels impossible to ignore. When agencies start flagging dangers in products used by seniors on fixed incomes, busy parents, and families trying to stretch every grocery dollar, the question becomes unavoidable. If the basics aren't safe, then what is? Why are plastic shards hiding in snacks meant for kids? Why are fresh fruits linked to listeria? And why are allergen mistakes slipping through companies with billion-dollar supply chains? And most importantly, how many households have already brought these risks home without realizing it? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. So in today's breakdown, we're uncovering the nationwide recalls shaking America's biggest retailers. And don't worry, after every section, I'll show you safe replacement brands so you know exactly what to buy next. Number 1. Super Greens. In a week already crowded with new national recalls, the warning around moringa-based super greens hit like a cold slap, especially for shoppers who believed these powders were a shortcut to staying healthy without blowing the grocery budget. Food to Live and members mark Super Greens, sold at Sam's Club, Walmart's online marketplace, Target.com, and Amazon, were pulled into a sweeping alert after federal testing, and the watchdog Consumer Lab confirmed that an imported moringa lot carried salmonella. What was supposed to be a clean boost for older Americans now sits at the center of a real multi-state outbreak. CDC investigators report that at least 11 people across 7 states fell ill with the identical strain, and 3 were hospitalized after consuming powders tied to a single shipment from Valon Farm Direct in India. For a product marketed as premium organic fuel, that is a twist no one saw coming. Officials are still untangling where else the contaminated lot traveled, which is why Sam's Club yanked all members' marked tubs containing moringa and warned that more brands could join the Do Not Eat or Sell list. Food to Live urged customers nationwide to stop using the powders, discard or return them, and disinfect every scoop, shaker, blender, and countertop involved. For older adults, a few invisible bacteria slipping into a morning smoothie can hit harder than a sudden utility bill. Days of high fever, bloody diarrhea, and severe dehydration. But the recall is only the outer layer of the onion. Food to Live advertises itself as a trustworthy, family-run source of organic staples. Yet the online record reads differently. On Walmart's marketplace, 1-star reviews describe shorted orders, received half of what I paid for, and a refund process that feels like waiting on hold with cable companies that swear they'll be right with you. Review aggregators score the brand below average, raising questions about consistency and value. While none of this equals the seriousness of a salmonella-linked outbreak, it reveals a pattern of bright marketing promises paired with murkier follow-through. Federal traceback shows that both Food to Live and Sam's Club relied on the same imported moringa supply, which explains how different labels ended up in the same national hazard notice. If any tub sits in your pantry, the safest move is clear. Treat it like raw poultry drippings and remove it immediately. Then steer your budget toward frozen spinach, kale, or broccoli from store brands with stronger oversight. Whole Foods Market, 365, Sprouts, even Kroger's Simple Truth. If supplements still appeal, choose labels showing NSF or USP seals, and check every product against recall alerts before spending $1. A pretty green label is not protection. Staying informed is. Number 2, cinnamon powder. This latest national alert arrives at a moment when Americans already feel surrounded by bad news. Yet somehow a tiny jar of cinnamon has managed to make the week even heavier. Lucky Foods. Cinnamon powder, the little container people toss into their cart without a second thought, has now been pulled straight into the country's growing lead crisis. FDA testing found elevated lead in the 40-gram jars, all marked with the code 15.09.2027, and about 5,598 units were shipped into at least 11 states, including North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, New York, Maryland, Florida, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Illinois. What looked like a harmless baking staple suddenly reads like a warning label disguised as dessert flavoring. This recall does not stand alone. It sits inside a wider federal alert naming more than a dozen contaminated cinnamon brands sold at Dollar Tree, Save-A-Lot, Patel Brothers, and other discount or ethnic markets that low-income households rely on to stretch every paycheck. Regulators keep repeating the same truth. There is no safe level of lead exposure. Kids risk lifelong cognitive and behavioral harm. Adults face higher odds of hypertension, kidney injury, and cardiovascular strain. Lead works quietly, slipping into daily routines. A sprinkle on oatmeal, a dusting on hot chocolate. The way a leaking roof drips unnoticed until the ceiling suddenly gives way. The roots of this crisis run deeper than one company. FDA intensified spice testing after lead-tainted cinnamon and applesauce pouches poisoned hundreds of children nationwide, proving how a cheap imported ingredient can contaminate even healthy snacks. Now Lucky Foods cinnamon powder joins the same blacklist, with officials urging families to throw it out, not donate it, and consult a doctor. Especially for toddlers and pregnant people, if repeated use is suspected. Beyond the recall, the broader Lucky Foods brand carries its own dents. Shoppers reviewing their Korean-style kimchi at Target describe moldy jars and mushy, broken-down textures that hint at cold chain lapses. Some of the brand's sauces have even carried California Proposition 65 warnings, adding yet another crack in the company's wholesome, clean label image, now overshadowed by outright lead contamination. If that familiar jar sits in your pantry, treat it like spoiled meat. Bag it, trash it, and check the FDA's cinnamon alert list for any other surprises. When replacing it, independent testing points towards safer choices such as Simply Organic, McCormick, Trader Joe's Organic Cinnamon, Morton and Bassett, Penzeys, Happy Belly, Good and Gather, Kirkland Signature, Organic Saigon Cinnamon, Sadaf, Louisa, and Ziyad. Brands that consistently test far lower in lead and operate in a completely different risk tier. Paired with basic habits like buying from high-turnover stores and monitoring FDA recall pages, you cut the chance that a warm, comforting spice becomes a long-term toxin hiding in plain sight. Number 3. Ground ginger. Some recalls arrive like thunder, loud and dramatic. Others slip in like a draft under the door. Quiet, cold, and unmistakably wrong. The alert involving Eagle Spice ground ginger belongs to the second category, the kind that makes people stop mid-recipe and rethink the trust they place in everyday pantry staples. This ginger, sold in 16-ounce bottles under lot number 24907EGGG with a best used by date of 01/27/2028, was pulled into a national warning after tests revealed lead levels higher than what regulators consider acceptable. The FDA labeled it a Class 2 recall, a category that signals medical consequences are not guaranteed, but very much possible. Distribution reached at least New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania, weaving the problem into millions of households in one of the most densely populated corridors in the country. Eagle Spice and Extract markets itself as a value importer, a phrase that sounds friendly until you realize it often translates into thin margins, rush sourcing, and quality checks held together with goodwill instead of investment. Independent reports explain how spices can pick up lead, polluted soil, contaminated irrigation, grinding machinery that hasn't seen maintenance since the Clinton years, and budget import chains are the most likely to miss the warning signs. This incident now places Eagle Spice alongside a long line of low-price spice suppliers that become visible only when something goes wrong. The health risks are not dramatic in appearance, but they are ruthless in effect. Lead does not yell, burn, or sting. It accumulates. A quarter teaspoon here, a holiday cookie there, and over time you have a silent trespasser in the bloodstream. Children face elevated risk of cognitive and behavioral harm, while adults can see blood pressure rise and kidney function decline. Consequences that do not care how cheap the jar was. What turns this recall from a simple housekeeping task into a serious consumer warning is how invisible the danger is. No strange smell, no odd color, nothing to signal trouble. If you purchased Eagle Spice ground ginger recently, especially that specific lot, The safest response is to treat it as you would a leaking battery. Remove it immediately, bag it securely, and wipe down the area where it sat. Then rethink your spice shelf. Higher standard brands like McCormick Gourmet, Simply Organic, Penzeys, Morton and Bassett. Organic and Star West Botanicals consistently perform better in independent testing, and buying smaller amounts reduces storage-related risks. When possible, using fresh ginger root adds flavor without inviting heavy metal contamination into your kitchen. Number 4. Infant formula. Some recalls feel distant, a mislabeled snack, a defective gadget, but a formula recall lands differently. It grips the country by the spine because it strikes at the one category where mistakes are unforgivable. By Heart Whole Nutrition. Infant formula, marketed as an organic whole milk premium option, has now become the center of a sweeping national safety alert after federal investigators tied it to a multi-state infant botulism outbreak. All cans and single-serve anywhere pack sticks were recalled after agencies confirmed a clear pattern. Infants consuming the formula became sick across multiple states. As of mid-November, federal data identified 23 infants in at least 13 states with suspected or confirmed infant botulism, all hospitalized, all having consumed By Heart formula before falling ill. The outbreak window stretched from early August through mid-November. The immediate trigger came from a can in California, Lot 206-VABP/251-131P2, that tested preliminarily positive for the bacterium responsible for botulism, prompting FDA and CDC to escalate the investigation nationwide. While no deaths have been reported, hospitalization for every affected infant speaks loudly enough. The seriousness deepens when you consider who this product is for. Babies under 6 months, an age group with almost no defense against the neurotoxins produced by Clostridium botulinum. Symptoms can begin subtly: constipation, weak cry, trouble swallowing, before progressing into full-body floppiness or even respiratory failure. Distribution through Amazon, Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, and other major retailers ensured the risk extended across the entire country, not just isolated pockets. Yet the crisis does not start or end with this single recall. By Heart's manufacturing and regulatory history shows cracks that now look impossible to ignore. A prior recall in an earlier year pulled 5 formula batches over potential Chronobacter contamination. FDA inspections at the brand's Pennsylvania facility revealed a leaking roof and thousands of dead insects within a production area. Violations so severe, they generated a warning letter citing significant failures. During the botulism outbreak, the company's public messaging drew harsh criticism for soft language that minimized the situation, particularly the repeated framing of the recall as an abundance of caution, even as infants were being hospitalized. For anyone caring for a baby, or for grandparents who often shoulder that responsibility, this is a stark reminder that even high-priced, boutique-style formula brands can falter in the most critical category. Anyone with By Heart formula produced after August 2025 should stop using it immediately. Document the lot code and follow FDA guidance for returns. Infants recently fed the product should be monitored closely for any signs of botulism. Safer alternatives include long-established brands like Enfamil, Similac, Gerber Good Start, Earth's Best Organic, and Happy Baby, preferably those with transparent facility labeling and strong quality certification. In a category where the margin for error is zero, informed vigilance becomes the real safety net. Number 5. Mini bars. Every so often, the kind of product people reach for during life's small joys ends up reminding the country that even comfort food can carry sharp edges. Haagen-Dazs chocolate. Dark chocolate mini bars. The kind stocked for birthdays, holidays, or just a Tuesday night, were pulled into the spotlight after federal regulators announced that certain 6-count boxes might contain undeclared wheat. For a brand that trades heavily on its premium identity, the revelation arrived like a pothole on a familiar road. Unexpected, jarring, and impossible to ignore. The affected boxes carry batch code LLA 519501 with a best buy date of January 31, 2027. Shipments reach Kroger stores across 29 states and Giant Eagle locations in Indiana, Maryland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. More than 30 states in total. That scale means the error was not a tiny blip in a niche market. It was a mainstream distribution miss, touching the same freezer aisles older shoppers and families depend on for safe, predictable choices. The hazard stems from the absence of wheat in the allergen panel. For people with wheat allergy or celiac disease, one bite of a mislabeled bar can trigger reactions that escalate quickly: swelling, breathing difficulty, anaphylaxis. And because ice cream bars are often handed out casually, to visiting grandkids, to seniors craving something cold after medications, to adults unwinding after work, the risk hides inside moments that are meant to feel safe and ordinary. Investigators trace the problem to a packaging mistake at the start of a production run, where wheat-containing bars were repacked into cartons that did not list wheat. Anyone familiar with manufacturing knows that changeover periods are where mistakes like to lurk, the way raccoons like to hide near backyard trash cans. Never glamorous, always troublesome. The wider frozen dessert industry has seen similar failures: allergen control oversights, cross-contact in busy facilities, mislabeled private label items. And this recall quietly slots Häagen-Dazs into that recurring pattern. For those with the affected box in the freezer, the simplest step is to stop eating it, especially if anyone in the household has wheat sensitivity. Consumers can discard or return the product and verify other cartons' batch codes before serving them to children or older adults. Safer alternatives include brands with clearer allergen management, Talenti gelato bars with their narrower flavor lines, Tillamook bar sticks with simpler formulations, or certified gluten-free options from Ben & Jerry's non-dairy selections. Even without reported injuries, the recall is a pointed reminder that packaging accuracy, the unglamorous backbone of food safety, is just as essential as the flavor. When a trusted dessert can stumble over such a basic requirement, it reinforces why households should keep recall alerts on their radar before treating a snack as harmless indulgence. Number 6. Peaches. It is not often that a piece of fresh fruit sends a nationwide jolt, but the recall of Moonlight Company's yellow and white peaches has done exactly that. What most families treat as a simple, everyday snack, something you rinse, slice, and trust, has now landed on the FDA's danger board after investigators detected listeria inside the company's packing facility. The recall covers conventional California-grown peaches sold between mid-September and late October under PLU codes 4401 or 4044, multi-packs labeled peppermint peach white varieties, and Kroger-branded yellow peach packs with UPCs like 11110 18174. Organic and Washington-grown peaches are excluded. No confirmed illnesses have been reported yet, but listeria is not the kind of bacterium you wait around and negotiate with. Pregnant women, newborns, seniors, and immune-compromised adults face the highest danger. Infection can escalate from fever and stomach distress to sepsis or meningitis. And because peaches are eaten raw, whatever contamination begins inside the packing environment can reach the consumer's kitchen without a single heat step to break the chain. Industry observers point out that high-speed fruit packing lines often run with limited downtime, making sanitation lapses more likely. Moonlight companies had already drawn quiet criticism in earlier years for environmental contamination risks around drains and adjacent equipment, concerns that now feel uncomfortably relevant. Even retail, giants like Kroger, Trader Joe's, and Walmart are pulled into the blast zone when their suppliers stumble. Anyone who purchased these peaches from mid-September through late October should discard them immediately or return them for refund. High-risk individuals who consume them should monitor for symptoms and seek care if anything seems off. Looking forward, shoppers may want options with better transparency. Washington-grown organic peaches, local farm labels, or national brands like Stemmelt and Rainier Fruit Company, known for stronger sanitation controls. And while rinsing cannot erase upstream failures, eating fresh produce sooner, not after days in the fridge, adds one more layer of protection. Number 7. Taco Kit. Most recalls announce themselves loudly, but this one hides inside something so ordinary that many families barely glance at the label. a soft taco dinner kit from Aldi's Casa Mamita line? The nationwide alert covers kits with UPC 409-9100-318715, lot code 25259, and a Best Buy date of March 15, 2026, sold across 28 states plus Washington, D.C. The problem is deceptively simple. The included taco seasoning packet was not seasoning at all, but a cocoa mix containing milk, and the packaging never disclosed milk as an allergen. For people with milk allergies or dairy sensitivities, this is not a small slip. One spoonful of the mislabeled packet can trigger hives, vomiting, throat swelling, or, in the worst cases, life-threatening anaphylaxis. Authorities say the mistake began with a third-party seasoning supplier that accidentally packed cocoa mix into taco seasoning packets, which then slipped uninterrupted into Aldi kits. Because the kits are inexpensive, convenient, and often purchased on autopilot, the risk is quietly amplified in households trying to feed kids or older adults quickly. This incident also casts a longer shadow over Aldi's private label oversight. The retailer maintains a lengthy record of Casa Mamita recalls, metal fragments in taquitos, undeclared allergens in snack items, repeated frozen food alerts, and each case nudges consumers to question whether the low-price promise sometimes comes at the cost of weak quality control. When a budget dinner kit can disguise milk inside a seasoning pouch, it exposes cracks in supplier verification that should never exist in allergen-sensitive categories. Anyone with the affected kit should discard it immediately or return it for a refund and consult FDA or Aldi recall pages to verify lot codes. Households managing allergies may prefer simpler or more transparent brands, such as Siete Foods, Old El Paso, or La Tortilla Factory, or bypass kits entirely by assembling tacos from fresh tortillas, protein, and verified seasoning. In a category where hidden ingredients carry real consequences, control, not convenience, is the safer path. Number 8. Pasta meals. The recall involving Fresh Realm's ready-to-eat pasta trays is one of the most alarming food safety stories of late 2025. Not because it's unusual, but because millions of Americans treat these meals as the safest kind of shortcut. Federal investigators linked multiple pasta dishes, sold at Walmart, Kroger, Trader Joe's, and Sprouts, to a deadly outbreak of Listeria monocytogenes. By late October, 27 illnesses across 18 states had been recorded, including 25 hospitalizations, 6 deaths, and 1 pregnancy ending in fetal loss. The trail leads to Nate's Fine Foods, the supplier of pre-cooked linguine, fettuccine, and bow-tie pasta used in items like market-side grilled chicken Alfredo, Home Chef chicken fettuccine Alfredo, Trader Joe's Cajun-style fettuccine Alfredo, and Scott and John's shrimp scampi. A routine sample collected in March tested positive for the outbreak strain, meaning the danger was embedded deep in the supply chain long before anyone opened a microwave. Because Listeria is especially dangerous for pregnant women, newborns, seniors, and immune-compromised adults, the presence of contaminated pasta in mainstream meal kits turns a convenient dinner into a serious threat. Anyone with these products, especially Best Buy dates from August 2024 through October 2025, should discard or return them and seek medical care if symptoms appear. Safer alternatives include simpler pasta kits, brands with transparent sanitation audits, or assembling meals yourself using fresh noodles and sauces. Number 9. Corn dogs. Few freezer staples feel as all-American as a corn dog, which makes this recall all the more jarring. In late September 2025, federal regulators announced that roughly 58 million pounds of State Fair and Jimmy Dean corn dog and sausage on a stick products, made at Hillshire Brand's Haltom City, Texas facility marked EST 582 and P894, were being removed nationwide because wood fragments were found embedded inside the batter. The products were manufactured from mid-March through late September and distributed widely, from Walmart and Sam's Club to school lunch programs and even Defense Department food contracts. At least 5 consumer injuries have been reported: cracked teeth, cuts to the mouth and throat, and medical visits triggered by biting into wooden shards hiding under the coating. The U.S. Department of Agriculture classified the recall as Class 1, meaning the products pose a reasonable probability of causing serious harm or death. Industry experts note that stick format frozen foods carry unique contamination risks, as wooden sticks and fast battering lines allow foreign material to slip through if oversight weakens. Tyson Foods and its subsidiaries have faced earlier recalls, raising concerns about whether corrective actions fully address production flaws. Anyone with State Fair or Jimmy Dean's stick products made between March and September 2025 should discard or return them. Safer alternatives include stick-free snacks like Applegate Naturals chicken strips, Perdue, Simply Smart, or homemade corn dogs assembled with inspected ingredients at home. Number 10. Yo Crunch. A recall hits differently when the product sits in nearly every family fridge. That is the case with Yo Crunch, Danone US's kid-friendly yogurt cups topped with candy domes. In mid-July 2025, the FDA announced a nationwide recall of all flavors and sizes after consumer complaints revealed transparent plastic fragments, some as long as 25 millimeters, hidden inside the dome toppers. The yogurt itself was fine, but the mix-ins posed a choking and internal injury hazard, especially for children who snack without hesitation. The recall covered lot codes and expiration dates from early July through early September and affected topping varieties such as Oreo, M&Ms, Snickers, and granola. Because the fragments came from the plastic dome rather than the yogurt base, many households may have assumed the product was safe, unaware that a single bite of topping could lodge a shard in the throat or airway. This incident also lands on top of Danone's ongoing pressure to reformulate U.S. products. Earlier that year, the company faced scrutiny for artificial dyes and transparency issues, signaling deeper brand trust challenges. Pair that with a topping-related choking hazard, and Yo Crunch's fun snack identity becomes a liability for parents. Anyone with recalled cups should discard them or call the Yo Crunch consumer line for refunds. Safer alternatives include Stonyfield Organic Kids, Siggy's Kids Tubes, or plain yogurt with homemade toppings. Before another hidden danger reaches your home, stay aware, stay prepared, and subscribe now, so every new warning finds you first.
Thanks so much for sticking with us to the very end. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our daily updates. And now feel free to check out some of our latest and most popular videos showing up on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next one.